USA, especially all you online remote students across America. Welcome to today's student-led pledge tribute ceremony and our first ever virtual pledge across America. You'll find out what that is at the end of the video. Let's kick it off by doing our reveille and flag raising. So before we kick it off and send it over to McKinley, who's going to take us through our half-staff alerts, McKinley in Colorado, I'm going to send you off with a little preview of our story from our flag. This week's story from our flag, no, it's not a pirate story, as my kids said about my hat. Come on, it's a colonial hat, isn't it? All right, it's about one of our most famous colonial patriots, and that is Paul Revere, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. But it shouldn't be called just the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. There's two others in our history books we forgot as the snow comes tumbling down here in Colorado. And that's William Dawes and Dr. Samuel Prescott. They helped him get the word out. They helped him ride across and tell people, the Redcoats are coming, the Redcoats are coming. That's what supposedly they shouted, but that could be a myth. As they ran out to Lexington and Concord to warn them that the British troops were coming. And what happened the next day? The start of the American Revolution. And we'll talk about that for Patriots Day. So here we go, turning it over to McKinley in Colorado for today's half-staff alerts.
Where is our flag lowered to half-staff today? Flag Steward says this is the most half-staffs it has seen in the 4 years of tracking half-staff alerts. There are no new half-staffs for today, but other half-staffs continue across Michigan, New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. All flags are half-staff. In Pennsylvania, all state flags are half-staff. Kentucky has the flags flying on its state capitol at half-staff, and in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, and in the cities of Columbia, South Carolina, Hendersonville, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and San Diego. California, all flags are half-staff. All of these half-staffs, except in Hendersonville, Tennessee, honor coronavirus victims. The half-staff in Tennessee pays tribute to a fallen officer.
All right, great job, McKinley. Thanks for letting us know all the states that are having half-staffs and for whom those half-staffs are, who they're honoring. We really appreciate that. And now we're going to move from Colorado back east to Missouri, a couple states over. We got Bradley and Connor. They're going to take us through today's story from our flag, which I gave you a little preview of. The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. And you may have forgotten the other two already. Bradley and Connor will remind you. Take it away, boys.
This week's story from our flag is about the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere and William Dawes and Samuel Prescott. That's right, fellow students. Paul Revere was not the only one to make that famous midnight ride. William Dawes and Dr. Samuel Prescott helped Paul Revere by delivering the message to other towns near Boston. Their mission was to make sure Sam Adams and John Hancock did not get arrested by the Redcoats. They called them Redcoats because of the fancy red uniforms they wore in the British Army. Revere, Dawes, and Prescott also told nearby towns that the British Army may take their gunpowder and cannons. As it turns out, the Midnight Ride prepared everyone for the first battles of the Revolutionary War, the battles of Lexington and Concord. It turns out the more famous you are, the better picture you get on Google.
All right, boys. That was just too funny. I love that line. The more famous people get better images on Google. I think you're absolutely right on that one. All right, so that was our great story from our flag from Bradley and Connor. And while we got the twin power, let's stick with them. Now we're going to have them review this week's fallen patriots to honor. That's our military and first responders who died in the line of duty. Back at you, boys.
This week's fallen patriots to honor. No U.S. troops were killed in the global war on terror. this week. But sadly, one soldier died at Fort Bliss in Texas, Private First Class Oakley. So we honor and thank him and all our troops for defending our freedoms. And back on the home front. Unfortunately, we lost 10 on the line of duty, 7 police officers and 3 firefighters. The 7 policemen were from Michigan, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and South Carolina. Two of the police officers died from coronavirus. And the 3 firefighters were from Michigan, North Carolina, and New York. One of the firefighters died while fighting COVID-19. We honor and thank these 10 first responders for serving and protecting their communities.
All right, Bradley and Connor. Thanks for helping us finish up our flag tribute, covering our half-staff alerts for today, telling about a story from our flag, reviewing our fallen patriots from this past week, all getting us ready, hopefully to have a more meaningful, more purposeful, more inspired Pledge of Allegiance. And that's what we're going to attempt to do now. Our first virtual pledge. Students from Colorado and Missouri will lead us through it now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great day.